It's obvious the unthinkable is happening. With all the recent media distractions, most folks never saw it coming. But a few did. Their guts told them something very wrong was going on. And now the headlines are proving them right. The people in charge keep telling you that everything's fine and to stop noticing. But you know better. Folks are investing in emergency food storage, and you should too. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, are the ones you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells biomass stoves, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, gravity-powered water filters, heirloom seeds, and survival gear that may come in handy soon. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today. It's time to prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Hello and welcome to Yeah We Read It. I'm your host Meggie.
And I'm your other host, Laura.
And for this season of Yeah We Read It, we will be covering Lacey Harrison's The Clique series. Right now we are on book 6, which is Dial L for Loser.
That's right, everybody. We are your best friends hosts who will be reading young adult novels from our past, and we are in the middle of a book series right now, and I'm kind of shocked we got this far.
It is pretty impressive. To be honest, this one, for me, was the most out there.
This book, I felt like last book, book 5, was really all over the place, and this one felt like that times 10. Like, this book is all over the place.
Yeah, this was The Pretty Committee Strikes Back on Adderall.
Yeah, so to recap, we left off with the last book. The only thing that's important from the last book is that they got expelled from OCD, their private school, and now we just jump in with them, what they're doing after they've gotten expelled.
So they're kicked out, and my favorite to summarize is the quote on literally page 1, because Massey is stoked for this. She says, "Thank you for kicking us out of OCD. From this day forward, stores are the new classrooms, salespeople are the new teachers, food courts are the new cafeterias, and visas are the new 7th grade ID cards."
Wow, powerful stuff.
Which is so classist when you consider what are Kristen and Claire supposed to do.
Oh my gosh, no, I literally had that written down too, where it was just like, Kristen and Claire are the only people who are like having to like face the consequences of this. Like Alicia and Alicia and Massey and everybody else just don't have to give a shit.
No, at one point Claire does say that she might be going to Abner Doubleday School.
ADD.
Which is ADD, and the private school is OCD. I really
don't
know what she's getting at.
I don't know.
But, they are... I feel like that quote honestly really captures the entire thesis of the book, because it's kind of like a hypersexualized version of like, oh, we're going to get the Clique series times 10 in this one.
Yeah.
And immediately it read to me as 90210, which is great because they go to LA in this
one.
And
this one is just so wild. Especially, it just doesn't make sense. A lot of this book does not make sense, our dear listeners. Because, like, Claire's dad is like, you can't do anything. You just have to stay at home, and Lane's going to bring you your homework. But, like, Claire gets to go to the mall.
Yeah.
And, like, it's kind of like Claire's half-grounded in this.
Yeah. Her and Kristen are the only ones actually facing consequences.
Yeah, like we said. I think we have to jump to Dylan gets them tickets to go to her mom's show, The Daily Grind, which is like this huge daily talk show.
Yep.
Because these two stars from the new movie Dial L for Loser are gonna be there, and they're supposed to be like ex-best friends, and they never do interviews together, and they got backstage passes. It's this whole thing.
And thank God for that, because if we had to do a book of them just hanging out, expelled,
they're just talking about what stores they're going into.
Massey wrote out an agenda for their entire week and sent the newsletter to the entire school.
Yeah.
And they do nothing.
Yeah, when we talk about the newsletter, they start, I think, really diving into the newsletter after they go to the show.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why do people like Massey? Like, Massey it's never explained why people like Massey. I brought this up before, and it still bothers me.
We watched Mean Girls last night, and it makes sense that people like Regina George because they fear her. I don't think there's
there's no fear with Massey.
No.
Yeah, it's like Massey's kind of like a wannabe Regina George, but she's just so nervous and insecure that it doesn't work.
Absolutely. So they get the ball rolling on the daily grind.
Yeah, they all go. They go to this green room. Todd is shown up there for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
He has snuck in because he needs one quirky moment.
He's started a massage train.
With Abby
and Hadley and this whole group. It's just this scene is just weird. Like Massey has these new extensions, like, and they all fall to the ground.
Yes, she has a kind of hysterical. She has extensions because she wants to be Abby essentially, and then Abby goes, "What is that ferret on the ground?" And her extensions
have fallen out
because they were glued in.
And then Abby takes down like off her hat and reveals that she's gotten hers all taken out. And Massey's just like pissed.
Yes,
that's another thing. Massey isn't an alpha. She just copies celebrities.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like she's not a trendsetter.
And I was kind of shocked that they were so obsessed with Abby because the beef with Abby and Hadley in this mock Hollywood is that Abby cheated on Hadley's now ex-boyfriend, who is Palmer Dryden, and they all love Abby. No one likes Hadley.
Yeah, like Abby's been like stealing Hadley's boyfriends for years, and everyone's obsessed with how cool Abby is. But it's like Hadley's kind of getting the short end of the stick in this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're getting some of the tea in the green room because Gabor is Hadley's new boyfriend.
Oh, I kept reading it as Gabor. Anyway, there's this guy, his name is spelled Gabor, he's a snowboarder. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like a brand at first. I have no idea, but anyway, we find out that Abby has been text-sexing Gabor, whoever Hadley's boyfriend is, that we don't know how to say his name, and they talk about it in the bathroom, and in the bathroom with them in the stall is Calgary, who is Dylan's mom's co-host, and she's had her mic on the whole time. So everybody has heard these girls spilling the tea that Gabor has been cheating on Hadley with Abby, and just chaos ensues.
I was really excited because I thought that Calgary was going to stir up shit on set.
Right.
Figures out she's just stupid.
Honestly, I will say the only thing I do remember from this book is the mic on thing, because anytime I'm on a set now and have a mic pack on me and go to the bathroom, I'm like, remember that time in the Clique book when that one got her mic pack on and they heard her pee?
Shit, so this one really burrowed its way into your subconscious.
Yeah, only the microphone bit. I do not remember a single other thing.
Oh my god. Well, it is also important because at this time, the microphone bit, Hadley whips off her shirt for some reason, throws it at Abby, and it's like, I quit. And
they're like in a weird fist fight, but it's not a fist fight. It's like they're just like throwing the cooking things for the cooking segment at each other.
And Rupert Mann, who is the director of Dial L for Loser, throws his phone, breaks it because he's mad because now Hadley quit the film. And he borrows Massey's purple rhinestone phone.
Yeah.
The rhinestones fall off a little bit, and she's upset about this.
I know. And then in the next sleepover, they turn on the TV, and Rupert's on the screen being like, I'm going to hire an absolute nobody. He's British in this.
Yep.
He wants to hire an absolute nobody, and he wants to audition the girl whose phone he stole and her friends.
And it's exciting.
And that's exciting. I will say, before we jump into that portion, I really was bothered in the whole talk show part of the book about how shitty they were being to Claire. Like, they only used Claire to get photos for this newsletter.
And then they had an asterisk at the bottom in small print that Claire took the photos.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's so mean. I thought, like, that's the thing that always bothers me about these books. It's like, Claire is like, either super in the circle and then will just suddenly be out of the circle for no reason.
It's like waterboarding. They are socially waterboarding Claire.
Woof.
And
dial WS for social waterboarding.
And I'm not saying that I did just read an entire chapter on Guantanamo Bay in a different book, but this is a little bit like they are waterboarding Claire.
That's so nuts. So anyway, they get a hold of Rupert, and he's like, everybody come audition. With your parents' permission, of course. Don't bring Dylan, because she's the reason Hadley quit.
I could hear Dylan's cries through the book.
Yeah.
Which made it so much more funny.
Yeah, honestly, Dylan's reactions in this book, you can feel them.
I am also shocked that he somehow singled out and knows that it was Dylan who brought up the fact that Abby had cheated on Hadley's boyfriend in the bathroom.
I don't know.
How do you know her voice?
Maybe he talked to Meryl Lee or something. I don't know. But that's never explained, and it's not important. Of course, Kristen doesn't get to go to this audition because her parents are strict AF.
And that also upset me because obviously Kristen and Dylan, they don't get plots. But on the back of the book, it does kind of allude that she might get a plot.
Yeah.
It says she has the Briarwood boys to keep her company, including certain people's crushes.
And she doesn't hang out with anybody this whole book.
She doesn't. She just talks to them about soccer.
Yeah,
There's no
it.
stirring of the pot.
They literally false advertising on the book. We were promised a Kristen plotline, and we did not get it. I am going to be mad about this until the day I die.
We're never going to.
We're never going to.
So they need to get permission from their parents. Massey and Claire kiss ass. They bring
They
lemonade
get there.
and sandwiches out to their parents.
Yada, yada, yada.
And they're going to be gone for 3 weeks. Claire's upset about this because she hasn't seen Cam for 29 days now.
Whoever gets the part's only going to be gone for 3 weeks. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, Massey follows up by definitely saying that it's... Why does Claire have to worry? She's not going to get the part.
She's like, you're not going to get the part, Claire. But Massey's never done any acting, so...
Yeah, and at least Claire has done a play in Florida.
Yeah.
I think it might be Wizard of Oz. I'm not sure. Fact check me on that one.
Yeah, they put them up in this really bougie hotel in LA.
The Le Picard.
Oh, I did not remember the name. The Le Picard?
Well, okay, you know me, and I'm not saying it right. It is like Baccart.
I'm going to call it the Picard. Le Picard. We're going to do it.
And there's a Reese's.
A giant Reese's cookie with a note from Rupert that says, "Enjoy the cookie, it will be your last." Which is cool to...
Fat shame 13-year-olds.
Yeah, they're 12. Remember, we found that out.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, well, speaking of their age, I did bring this up to you before we started recording this episode. We need to talk about how, when we started reading the Clique books, it was September, and each book has been chronological. We are now in March of this world. Nobody's had a birthday at all.
There's no way they are all summer birthdays.
Absolutely not.
How Geminis and Cancers being friends? They couldn't.
No.
One of them is definitely a Cancer.
They said Massey was a Leo at some point, which I don't believe.
Leo? Oh, well then I guess she'd be an August
birthday,
maybe.
But the chances that all 5 of these girls have summer birthdays is slim.
One of them has to be a Virgo. Honestly,
Yeah.
I want to do an alignment chart for these. That's a different...
I wonder if we could go to the Clique wiki and find their birthdays and then fact check it that way.
Oh my God, we have to.
Oh my gosh. So anyway.
In this hotel, they do have a remote control for everything, which I was pretty excited about.
The only thing I wrote down from the hotel was how Alicia emerges from the shower and her boobs are jiggling as she's blow drying her hair. Which is fun because every time I read this book, I go, hopefully we'll stop commenting on the 12-year-old Alicia's boobs. And we get a certain part where I go, maybe we're not going to do it. And then suddenly it just happens that we comment on how huge Alicia, the 12-year-old's, boobs are.
When was the first Alicia boob check in this book?
Probably, in this book?
Yeah.
I think that was it. Page 109.
Okay, so
we're making progress from books 3 and 4. But, I think until we're at 100%, I will never be happy.
And on page 109 is also the driving wedge between when we figure out what multiple personality disorder Massey's going to have this time. And she is mean to Claire in this book.
So mean to Claire in this book. Wow.
So Claire steps up to a mirror that rich people use to make you look bigger, so you obsess about your weight. I don't really know. But she's, nervous because she's like, my clothes don't fit. And Massey says, clothes stores and 5-star hotels use funhouse mirrors to trick stupid people into thinking they're suddenly tall and thin, so they'll spend money.
Yeah.
Which is so mean.
That's real. Massey is, brutal in this book, and not even, a respectable way.
She also says she waved Claire off like a stinky fart.
Yeah.
That hurt me.
Honestly beautiful writing, though.
And knowing, what's coming next and knowing how much more isolated Claire's gonna be.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Oh my gosh. So the next day somebody picks them up and they're going to audition for Rupert. They get the sides. They meet Connor Foley, who's just, I'm going to say it. He's a shitstorm of a character. He's a dumb character. He's written terribly. He makes no sense. And I don't know how old he is.
We cannot stress, we do not know how old he is.
Yeah.
And that's really important to know for the context of this book.
Yep.
But he calls them baby girls nonstop, and...
He always puts unlit cigarettes in his mouth, and that's supposed to be cool.
And asks Massey why she's wearing velvet pants in 76-degree weather.
And he's drinking a root beer through a brown paper bag.
Yep.
Wow. How cool is he?
Oh,
God, what a square.
So they show up to Gelding Studios, and they get their sides. They're shown the set of Dial L for Loser, which is like an idyllic suburban street.
Yeah.
The set of an elementary school. It really reminded me, picture it as like Wisteria Lane in Desperate Housewives.
Oh, that's a good picturing of it.
Yeah, that's how I
good
saw
job.
it.
I could see that too. Like, I just pictured like any sort of early 2000s movie. But they're all put in this room to like practice their sides. And I did hate this because Massey gets mad because she doesn't want to rehearse anymore, and if she's done rehearsing, then everybody else has to be done rehearsing.
It was driving me crazy.
Like, Massey is really bad in this book.
She was picking up Rupert's Oscar, which, first of all, that's an Oscar.
Yeah, don't touch that.
Don't touch that. And trying to distract everyone. And both Alicia and Claire are like,
taking this seriously.
This is business time. So they're all auditioning for Hadley's role in the film, who is this loser who takes advice from Abby, who's the popular girl, on how to win over Connor Foley's character.
Yeah.
So that's who they're replacing.
Yeah, and I was really glad that they played out all of their auditions completely, rather than just being like, and then Alicia went, and then Claire went. I really liked reading all of their auditions word for word as they delivered them.
Oh, me too.
That was honestly good touch, Lacey. I liked that.
And I kind of like how their character informed how they behaved in the audition.
Yeah.
Clearly Massey was not going to get it.
Massey just reads the lines as she would herself. And then it, like, doesn't, God, Massey's so dumb. Like, Massey, it plays this, bitchy, like, this character that they're auditioning for is, like, an insecure, nobody, loser, Dial L for Loser.
Yep.
And Massey plays it as, like, she's this super confident, super bitchy, like, I get what I want, girl.
Yeah.
And, like, Rupert's like, not quite. And Massey's like, he liked what I did with the character. And it's like, no, he didn't. And
then Alicia's like, does it pretty well, very soft-spoken, averting Connor's eye contact. Yeah. And Rupert's like, that was really good, but
you're so pretty.
You're so attractive.
Yeah, which is weird.
We can't have this kid on. But prior to this, Claire is wearing a t-shirt that Alicia and Massey dumped something on.
Yeah.
And Rupert's like, oh, okay, so she's method. And Claire's feeling like shit because they dumped something on her shirt.
Yeah, she also has her super short bangs from the last book. And they always keep being like, wow, this girl looks like a real loser because of those bangs. And it's just like...
Yeah, so she's meek and, like, timid already. And this whole scene is about kind of, like, confronting Brad and telling them that they love him.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, she cries during the audition, so they're like, bravo!
Yeah. And
then Massey is, for some reason, shocked when Claire gets the role.
Oh, she's so mad. And this is the turning point when you're like, well, shit's gonna hit the fan for Claire.
I truly just wrote at my notes after Massey storms off of the things. She kicks the door open, and she, like, is knocking things over. She's just a sore loser.
She's such a sore loser. And then they go to wardrobe, and Massey and Alicia ask if they're going to get free clothes,
Yeah,
too.
because they have to go to a wardrobe with Claire, because that's, like, the only way they can get out of the set. It's so big, they need a ride back to the entrance.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll give you guys a ride to the entrance after we go to wardrobe. And they're like, well, Claire, here's all of the free designer clothes, shoes, bags that you're getting. And they're like, do we get comps? And it's like, you guys were just really mean to Claire. No, you don't get comps.
No, you don't. So they storm out.
And Claire's like, I'll share with you guys.
Stella, who's Claire's assistant, and Claire pull up on a golf cart. They bring them back to the hotel, and
they're, like, packing up to leave. And Claire's like, are you guys sure you want to leave? Which is like, Claire, don't you want them to leave? They're being so mean to you.
Yeah. And they go to sleep on a bad note.
But they wake up for the airport the next morning, and it is Kristen and Dylan call them, and they're like, there's a big surprise that Marilee and Calgary at the Daily Grind are hiring them to be on-set reporters for behind the scenes for Dial L for Loser.
They have no experience, and...
Well, Alicia has that reporting job.
Oh, you're right.
But Massey has no experience.
And they're going to be on the air to a million people.
Yep.
Why not?
Which is super casual. And something that did bother me about this, like, Dylan's reasoning is like, well, it's like the first time a major Hollywood movie's ever cast a nobody, and so they want someone to be there to, like, report live about that. And I'm like, this is not the first time that Hollywood's cast a nobody. That happens often.
All the time.
Yeah.
Look at Daisy Ridley and Star Wars.
Or Millie Bobby Brown in Stranger Things. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. It happens all the time.
It's not that. But, I mean, this is the first time they have access to on-set for some reason.
Yeah, I don't...
So,
no.
they're doing behind the scenes. They have to get there, though, at Eastern time, 6:30 a.m., which is 9:30 a.m. New York time, and they are tired.
They're really tired, which is weird and something I wrote down. They were so tired when they had to go to, like, the 7 a.m. show in New York, but now it's, like, 6 a.m. in L.A., and they're doing it, and they're just, like, they're, like, complaining about it now. I don't know.
Yeah, and...
lots of continuity errors here.
They get ready, the cameraman counts them down, and
they both freeze.
They
both freeze. And I was kind of excited that they did. I was surprised that Alicia would, though. Like, nothing... That doesn't make sense.
I don't know why Alicia was just laughing.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
so much.
Weird. And then something that's going to piss Massey off forever, Claire comes in and steals the show on this segment. Because she's like, I'm going to give you guys an olive branch. I'll help you get this segment started. Claire's a supernatural. And Massey is just, like, livid that Claire's once again doing better than her.
Yeah, but also Massey hasn't been speaking this whole time, and the cameraman is really trying to get them to say something.
God, it's laughable. It's laughable. And then when he starts telling her to wrap it up, Massey goes, I recognize that's, like, motion from first grade. He was just saying whoop-de-doo with his hands when he's trying to get her to wrap it up, and she will not stop talking.
I was embarrassed.
I was embarrassed for Massey. It's
her.
just really cringe.
It was...
I wrote on page 167 as my notes, it's just this whole thing is just so embarrassing.
So, then we switch over to Claire a little bit.
Yeah.
We switch over to Claire. So she just had her first day. People are telling her she did good. And Abby and Connor want to go out.
Yeah.
Abby wants her to go out with them.
They're really taking Claire under their wing, being, like, really friendly with her, which is really nice because Claire kind of needs it because her friends in real life are dicks.
Yeah.
They're huge assholes.
Abby dresses Claire to the tens in, like, what seems like gold shorts that are essentially underwear.
Yeah.
She sounds like she's going out like that.
And they also describe Abby as wearing a bikini top with a denim vest over it, which I thought was like, what?
That's heinous.
It's heinous. It's absolutely heinous. But in the Clique world, it's stunning.
It's stunning.
And they all go out to dinner... And then they get, like, a bunch of, like, photographs taken of them. And another big separation in Massey and Alicia's and Claire's friendship is that Massey had asked if they could come to dinner, like her and Alicia. Mm-hmm. And Claire was like, yeah, let me just figure out where we're going and I'll call you guys. But then Claire just kind of gets distracted with how much fun she's having and doesn't give them a call.
This part was also, I had to reread them going out a lot because did they ever actually go anywhere?
No, they, like, went to there and then there's too many people taking their pictures, so they ran back in the car.
And then they went to In-N-Out and then she went home.
Yeah, no,
they didn't really miss out on a fun night.
No, exactly.
And at one point, Abby threw a thong on a security guard.
Which is kind of rude.
Just pretty rude.
That man was just doing his job. Leave him alone. Did we talk about how often Connor uses the word baby girl? He talks in the third person. I don't remember if we said that, but he also uses the word baby girl constantly. And when Connor greets them to go out, he goes, I can't go out with two hot baby girls looking like this. Ugh.
Yeah, it's...
cringe.
It's really tragic. And also, just Connor is, like, the fucking worst.
Yeah.
He is described as super hot, but his behavior is
bad.
Just terrible.
It's really bad.
All he does is say baby girl and, like, sexualize these kids.
Yeah, he's just, like, aggressively flirty with people. It's really uncomfortable, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce my fan theory right now.
Yeah.
Because, and I told you this before this, and I have 2 examples to cite my theory, and I'm going to say it's true. I think Abby does drugs.
Interesting. Go into that.
Thank you. So here's the thing: is Abby's described as this very she makes up a lot of her own words, very fun-loving, very happy. After the first day of shooting, this is where I kind of got oh, there's something different about Abby, because after a long day on set, you're exhausted. Being on sets are exhausting. Claire's tired. She wants to call Cam and go home, and Abby's like, "No, we're going out." And Claire goes, "Aren't you tired?" And she goes, "Tired of not being on the scene, Jelly Bean." And then she just starts screaming about how excited she is to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just oh, that's a lot for, okay, yeah. And I'm just I was just maybe Abby does drugs. And then later, only a few pages later, when they're in the car, she pops open her green ring on one of her fingers and pulls out a little mint that's in it. And I just went, is that really a mint, or is it something else?
Or is it a rock of cocaine?
It couldn't be.
Is it a crack rock?
Is it a crack rock? Will we ever know? I think Abby does drugs, and that is my thing.
It would check out.
It makes sense with Abby's character. She's written as all over the place.
That is true. Before they go out, too, she's screaming, trying to get a word
She's always
together for Claire.
screaming. Yeah. She's making up words. She's screaming. She's so happy.
She does make up words.
She does.
One of them is terrific and giraffe for some reason, which is giraffic.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think she probably
I love
does
Abby
drugs.
as a character, but I think she does drugs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So then we go into it, Massey and Claire have to, really do something so that they don't get fired from their jobs as correspondents.
Yeah, so Massey's grand idea for her and Alicia are to bring Bean to the set in the morning, and why?
Oh, it was stupid.
So instead, they get there pretty early, and Abby and Claire are getting their makeup done, and this is the first encounter they've had, trying to get Abby for an interview, but...
Yeah, and Abby's absolutely not, I'm not wearing makeup, no.
Exactly, which is fair, and Claire tries to reinforce those boundaries as nicely as Claire is, and is you know what, we're getting ready, I can show you guys around maybe wardrobe, and they're like, no, fuck this.
They're like, no, we need an interview with Abby, and they get so mad that Claire can't break rules on the set that she's employed at, and they go to her trailer and somehow sneak in there past the security guard, and they bought a bunch of stuff at the Rite Aid, and they just do a tour of Claire's bathroom for their segment, but they've planted diapers and Pepto-Bismol and incontinence medication
It's
and
so mean.
super jumbo tampons, and they're like, wow, it looks like she's she has acne and bad breath, and she wears diapers, and it's just so mean.
It's so mean.
It honestly it wasn't even I don't even know how I felt reading it. It's just it felt gross.
I didn't even know there were that much things that you could take care of using cosmetics, but there was Listerine for bad breath, Jolene face bleach for her mustache, Depends for bladder control issues, that makes sense, Rogaine for female baldness, Head and Shoulders for dandruff, Athlete's Foot which is Disonex, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
And a can of Crooks, which was for jock itch.
Yeah,
It's just they cover their bases.
They really just grab anything and everything, and it's just really mean. It's just really fucking mean.
It's so mean.
It's just it's not even the oh, this is fun mean. Reading it, I was just this makes me kind of mad.
And they're live streaming to 1 million people.
Yeah, it's just I was just I would never talk to those people who did that shit again. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. On the way out of the trailer, though, they do run into Connor, and they kind of get a one-on-one with him, so they are kept on this scene for the daily grind, because they're Connor never does exclusives.
Yeah, and then they start getting Connor to, spend time and hang out with them, and he invites them to go swimming at his pool.
Yes. So Connor gets to know them and wants to know them better when Claire later comes off the set because she just had an important scene and she was crying a lot.
Yeah.
And Rupert's like, I haven't seen that since Dakota Fanning. Where did you get your inspiration? And she points at Claire and Alicia, or Massey and Alicia, and says them, which I thought was great.
Honestly, I loved that.
Abby is holding her shoulders and is very protective of her.
Yeah.
It's fake, but
I know, and then Connor wants to start hanging out with Massey and Alicia so he can really tap into his emotions. Some little actor little bitch.
I love that Connor completely missed the cue. Like, everyone knows what's going on. Abby's like, some friends you are. And Connor's like, can you guys help me?
Yeah, it was weird. It's just, again, a lot of this book, parts of it just don't make sense completely.
Exactly. It is character-driven and checks out later on when you realize what his motivation is.
And boy, we're still in it for the ride, because there's still, 8 more books? We'll figure it out.
I do love how self-involved Connor is, though.
I love how self-involved Connor is. Like, Connor is a character that I love how much I hate him.
Oh,
yeah,
me too.
100%.
He's one of those ones that is like, I mean, not Lane in the sense I love Lane, but is such a short character. You get his entire personality from this book.
From first line, you get it.
Kristen and Dylan, I couldn't tell you.
No, absolutely not.
What is up with them?
Let's jump to Connor, who has Massey and Alicia's over for the pool party, finally.
This scene goes on for a chapter. It felt like I wanted an entire book on this.
I would have watched an entire book of these desperate teenage girls trying to impress this boy. I would have watched. It was great. It was great. He makes them compete in a swim race to see who will be his date to the after party, and they just fall for it. It's hilarious.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. And then they also find out, this is a good plot point. It's revealed that Connor and Abby are secretly dating.
It is true.
Yeah.
Connor's mom, who they mistake for his maid, reveals that she's so happy Connor's finally hanging out with good girls and not Abby.
Yeah. Ugh.
And this is important. You should probably think it's not good that Abby's boyfriend is having 2 girls over. And these are middle school dropouts, which he admits is good for his bad boy persona.
We don't know how old he is.
We do not know how old he is. And I love that in this moment, I mean, I hate them, but this was almost like a human moment.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, I kind of get impressing the guy. And Alicia comes out of the pool with snot going down her face, which, embarrassing. And Massey has a wedgie she can't pick.
Yeah. Honestly, swimsuits always cause wedgies.
Swimsuits and the swimming pool, that is true. I used to get a lot of satisfaction, though, pulling snot out of my nose.
Snot, yeah.
Swimming pool, but... Who knows?
Well, we also have to touch on that Cam has also broken up with Claire because she was kissing Connor for a rehearsal, in which the director was instructing them.
Yeah, this is
really fucked up. I mean, I was mad at that.
This is all a nightmare. This is really the icing on top of the cake, where Massey and Alicia are invited on set by Connor because now they're friends. But this was prior to the pool scene, so they randomly became friends.
It was very glossed over.
During that time.
Yeah.
And Claire's nervous because she has to kiss this guy, and she asks for them to leave the set.
Yeah.
Which understandably,
yeah. Understandably so. But then we kind of jumped to the rap party pretty quickly after that pool scene. Yeah. And then at the rap party, Massey and Alicia don't end up going, do they? Do they? I don't remember.
They do.
Oh, okay, cool.
They're all coming home when Claire's done with the movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, Claire at this rap party, it's just kind of revealed how fake and hollow Hollywood is, where it's Abby kind of reveals oh, we were just movie friends. We're not actual friends in real life. I'm gonna go do my next movie now.
And that's my new best friend.
And those are gonna be my new best friends. So it was fun working with you.
That made me really sad.
Yeah.
Abby, girl, are you okay?
So sad.
Poor Abby.
And then it is really one of the quickest moments is just suddenly Claire, Massey, and Alicia are friends again because they start throwing mints at each other in the hotel hallway.
Yeah, Claire just kind of had nothing to lose, so she starts throwing shit at them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, you did this shit to me. Well, you did this stuff. And then it's just the point is mute.
Yeah, they kind of realize, oh, we all did shit to each other. We're friends again. Nobody apologizes.
Massey and
Life
Alicia,
without consequences.
I know. I love when Massey and Alicia were in US Weekly because Connor was trying to get back at Abby.
God, and they were everybody reads US Weekly.
And it was literally Alicia with snot in her nose, and Massey had a booger. Or a wedgie.
Yeah, and so then they all fly back to Westchester, and they've been thrown this huge welcome back party. And I think the funniest part of that is they've gotten cardboard cutouts of Massey and Alicia from Us Weekly.
Yeah.
And they're poses, and everybody's just obsessed with the fact that they were in Us Weekly. They don't think it's embarrassing at all.
They were at Connor Foley's house.
Life without consequences.
And during this time, Todd gives Claire a little bag of gummy worms, so we know where the book is going to end.
It ends with her and Cam getting back together, but then Claire also gets a voicemail from somebody asking if they can be her agent, and they want her to move to LA. And then Cam goes, well, are you going to move? And she goes, why would I leave all of this? And it's like, well, your boyfriend dumped you for something stupid. Maybe you don't stay with him.
And your friends are pretty mean besides Lane.
Yeah. So maybe like money is a good thing.
Yeah. And she gets to do something she loves.
What a book. Dial L for Loser. More fun than book 5.
It's pretty hard because there's a lot that I would love to talk about this, but
boy, we're running out of time. And honestly, I'm just excited for book 7. Where do we go from here? Oh my gosh, we didn't even touch on the big end for this book is Kristen single-handedly gets them all back to OCD so they're no longer expelled.
Mm-hmm.
And she's written an essay about the meaning of life. And they're like, yep, that makes sense. You all can come back to OCD on one condition. You all have to do an extracurricular activity, which is like pretty small condition. Like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I loved extracurriculars.
Yeah, and you know what? Nobody thanks Kristen.
No one thanks Kristen.
Why would... Nobody thanks anybody in this book.
So, we're going to get to our list of most problematic things, because this book had a lot.
This is our top 5 list. In this episode, it's our list of the top 5 most problematic things that happened in this book. Wow. Lots of problematic things happen in this book, Maggie.
There was a lot, and definitely number 5. Do you want to start it off? Do you know what the headline is?
I absolutely do. I do have it written down. Okay, so the top 5 moment is the headline in Us Weekly when Massey and Alicia first pop in, driving around in a golf cart with Connor Foley, and the headline is Connor Foley with sexy middle school dropouts, Alice and Moosey. And that's a problem, Maggie, because you can't call middle schoolers sexy. They are 12.
True.
I hate to emphasize how many times we brought up their age in this season of Yeah, We Read It, but we have to.
Knowing that Hollywood puts adults as high schoolers, playing high schoolers, and not knowing Connor Foley's age,
woof.
We should really be hitting home that they are middle schoolers.
They are 12. Okay.
Exactly.
Maggie, what's our next moment?
Easy. Number 4 is Cam dumping Claire for doing her job.
Woof. Again, hated it when we talked about it. Hated again bringing it up.
Claire kisses Connor once. And then Cam goes, you're doing it again?
For the movie. It's like, it does not, how do you know how movies work, Cam?
None of them know what acting or rehearsals are.
Oh my god, I hated it. I hated it so much. What a toxic boy.
God.
Maggie, I'm going to tell you what number 3 is.
Yep.
It's when Connor calls Alicia exotic, and then Alicia asks if he speaks Spanish because he pronounces cabana.
And he goes, yes, because I visited a Spanish-speaking country for 2 days.
Yep. And that's not cool.
Incredible. Number 2 has to be when Massey kind of has a little bit of a moment 2 times. Claire is rehearsing her lines, and she is looking off, reciting them, and Massey says she looks like a mental patient. And then later on, I think it's such a great golden nugget of a line, but Claire gets called a method actor, and Massey says, method must mean mentally challenged in Hollywood speak.
It's bad. It's
so
real bad. That's real bad. But number 1, the worst thing, the most problematic thing in this book was that trailer bathroom prank that Massey and Alicia did.
So mean.
Wow, that was bad.
For a 12-year-old, that's who's
like,
so
it kind of
insecure.
makes you want to vomit how horrible that is.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I would punch these kids.
Okay. Let's get started on the State of the Union.
Let's cap it off.
Okay, I think first thing, let's get it out of the way. Out Apple C. So in this book, they keep using Apple C when instead of Jinx to be like control. So it's like what you do on a keyboard for copy. So it's stupid. So it's just so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's dumb.
Instead of Jinx, they say Apple C. And the opposite of that, just don't say anything.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
If you guys say something at the same time, that's...
Just be like, oh my god, we said the same thing at the same time. That's so funny.
That's actually fate, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we always just say like something like great minds or twins. That's a funner thing to say.
The next State of the Union out would be breaking up with someone over something stupid.
Yep, that's pretty out. That's called toxic. In this book, it was toxic masculinity, but toxic can be any gender or non-gender, as we know. And the in for that is going to be respect your partner and have open communication. Listening is good, and also understanding them and not breaking up with them over something stupid.
Yeah,
that's going to be in. That's always going to be in.
Always going to be in. And the next State of the Union in would be checking in on your friends.
Gosh, Lane is an MVP for this. Lane is the only person in this book to ever check on how Claire is doing.
Mm-hmm.
She's got Claire's back when Claire's like, I don't know who Cam's bringing to the dance. Lane's like, I got you, but I'm busy right now. Calls back like 20 minutes later. Hey, Claire, got your back. Cam's at the dance with your brother. Nothing to worry about. Love you. Bye.
Yep.
And the out is going to be humiliating your friends on TV. I cannot emphasize enough how much I hated that moment.
Yeah.
Massey and Alicia are terrible friends.
This one, they're going to really have to do some damage control for me in book 7.
Yeah, I can't believe this apology is glossed over so seamlessly. Like nothing happened, and I don't like it. But I'm excited to see what happens in book 7. I hope some redemption.
I am so excited for book 7. Which one is it?
It's called...
Is it Sealed with a Disc?
I think it's Not Easy Being Mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Very excited for book 7. I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it?
I'm so ready for it.
And that's going to be it for Y'all, we read it.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to go start reading book 7. But for now, please follow us at Meggie and Laura on all social medias where you find your media to be social. We are a part of the Social Podcast Network, so make sure you're following them. Instagram, Facebook, they've got plenty of other fun podcasts for you to check out, and we would love for you to listen to them just as much as you're listening to us. I've been Laura.
I've been Maggie.
And we'll see you for book 7.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.